Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be diving into a little bit deeper into something we covered, which is taking something negative. Sorry, I'm getting chocolate out of my bucket teeth. Taking something negative and reframing it to something positive. And I've been trying to do that the last few days with my situation, but it's not about ignoring the tough stuff. It's about finding ways to rise above it. I read that earlier. I thought that was cool. Today I'm going to share a story that a friend of mine um, and I have been talking about something he's been going through, like some things he's been going through. And he gave me permission. I asked if I could like make a video about it. I'm going to leave it anonymous because, you know, he watches, people we know watch and stuff like that. So my friend, he's also one of the closest people that I have in recovery. I've known him longer than I've been clean. Um, and he got clean. He got into like a 200. He worked his way through this company. He works a white collar job. I'm not going to give any specifics. And he got to the point where he's making, just under 200K a year, right? He's been engaged for a while. He's been with this girl for 5 years. Um, about as long as he's made that much money, he's been with this girl. He got with this girl right before that happened, basically. Well, within the last few weeks, he's lost both the job and the girl. And not to mention, just a few months before, he lost his mother to cancer. And so it's been rough. He lost his job. Company is no longer doing any kind of business in California. And so effectively lost his job. And literally less than 2 weeks later, his fiance drops this bombshell. Like, it was pretty obvious that she was just around for the money. Because as soon as he lost this job, she blatantly just admits like, "Oh, I've been cheating on you," with receipts and saying like, "I don't want to be with you anymore," basically, and that I want to live a life with this new lover that I have. It's fucked up. I fucking I cannot stand her. I fucking god damn. I can't wait till karma fucking comes back and bites her in the ass. Anyway, we're not here talking about that, but naturally, he's struggling pretty hard to, you know, cope with and deal with this. And we're all worried. He's worried, even though he's a pretty strong-willed individual. He's come a long way. Um, and I don't think that that's the case anymore. And the reason I'm making this video is because sharing those negative instances with you, I'm sure that if you could put yourself in those shoes, it would probably be an immensely crushing, difficult, just situation all overall around to deal with, like no matter what, like whoever you are, that's gonna be crushing, absolutely crushing. Um, and so I'm very grateful also that he allowed me into this situation, wanted me to be his ear and wanted to ask me questions of what I thought, how I felt. And I'm grateful that he was open and willing enough to listen to this because, you know, I've gotten pretty good at looking at situations, any situations, and unless it's like a heinous something like that, like and finding some sort of positive outlook. It's not as easy to do for myself, but when it comes to other people, it's a lot easier for me to do. And he was very receptive to what I thought I seen, right? And so I guess that's kind of what I want to share, right? It's if you really try and you work hard, you can find these situations have hidden gems of good things that come out of it. He felt like he'd lost everything, and I want to share like how we started looking at the situation a little bit differently and how it kind of helped him get to the point where he's at right now with it. So first off, what I, you know, wanted him, to look at is financially, he's a smart guy. Like he didn't blow his money, So he, had a nest egg of money saved up. He's not in anywhere near immediate danger of losing the place he lives, which he doesn't own, he rents, and his car. Uh, so he's okay, and he even has enough to, like, if he really wanted to, he could just take off and go almost anywhere he wanted for like a week or two, and it wouldn't affect him at all immediately. Like, whenever he feels up for it, like I kind of recommended maybe that be what he does, and I think he's gonna do that. So it's cool. Maybe I'll go with him. Yeah, right. Can't afford that shit. Um, and so, like, even that's something positive to think about. Like, there's a lot of people who aren't even anywhere near that good of a situation. But when you live in that and something like this happens, you lose everything all at once. It feels like you've lost it all. Um, and so the bigger part, though, I think, is on the relationship side. As painful as this is, um, her leaving and leaving the way she did fucking saved him so much. Sure, he's wasted a lot of time, energy, and heart on this woman, but man, the fact that she didn't just stick it out, try and, fucking get herself married to him just to screw him over at some point down in the long run. And the fact that she chose right when you lost your job, and the fact that, she even showed you, that she really was doing what she was doing. Like, there's so much worse that this situation could have ended up, but now you're free of that. You didn't know that that was happening, but now that you do, like there's gotta be a sense of, man, I dodged a bullet. Like this was someone that you planned to build a future with, but now you see that she wasn't worth it, like any kind of investment like that. So by showing your true colors, she actually freed you of what could have been a much bigger heartbreak down the line. You dodged a bullet. I took notes kind of like before I made this. I want to try being a little more organized with my videos. So if you see me looking down, so, um, and another thing, like this is something that him and I had in common. He had realized that he had become almost cripplingly dependent on her, right? Like every decision that he would make would, revolve around how it would affect her more so than how it would affect himself. Like to the point where like he was choosing to stay working at this job, passed up opportunities that could have been better because he would have had to move. She doesn't want to move. Her family's here in California and she doesn't ever want to be too far away, even if they could come visit it. So he declined this job offer and stayed here. And that's just one of many examples. Doesn't hang out with his friends very much. We hardly see him, mainly because she doesn't like, I don't know, she thinks we're all bad influences or something. Um, she's, kind of controlling in that sense. And he got so used to that, that it was somewhat comforting, right? Like that was just the way life was, and he was okay with it. But like now, with this stivism, right, is obviously that wasn't entirely healthy, but now he has a blank slate at which he can, you know, sort of rediscover like who he is and what it is that he really wants in life because he was living his life based on what somebody else wanted. And that's not a way you can truly be happy. You're supposed to build a life with somebody that you guys want to live together. You know what I mean? Not just, I'm just doing what she wants to do all the time. Like, I'm just doing what he wants to do all the time. It's a two-way street, right? I guess. I don't know. I have a girlfriend, but I'm not married, so maybe I'm wrong. Um, in terms of his career, he's got a pretty good reputation in his industry. He's got a very very good resume, that translates very well into his industry he's in and other industries. Um, and he's already received offers from other places before. You know, none standing right now, but he's already been offered something in different places that he's turned down because he couldn't go now. And that's another thing, right? About like Kurt is like he's always wanted to like go and travel and like see new places, live in new places, experience new places. And his job, he could find work all throughout the country, but he always chose to live and stay in California because that was what he wanted. Now he actually can pursue that desire to go and live and see somewhere else and experience other places and stuff. And he might even be able to find a more lucrative like company or position to, work with somewhere else in the country. So like he's out of a job, but he's in a position to look for an exponentially greater amount of different opportunities in his field than he ever could have done just here in California. Um, so this change, he's no longer tied down here because of someone else's needs. This change opens up a whole new world of experiences for him, and you know, I'm very grateful that he allowed me to be a part of, you know, we've talked for hours and hours about this, and like genuinely feel confident that like he feels better about this, like overall, all the way around. Like, we talk every day, and he's been sounding better. He sounds great, and he sounds excited. So I'm very grateful, and I feel very fortunate and happy that I've been able to be a part of that. What started as a nightmare has slowly but surely become an opportunity for him to rebuild in a way that he never expected. Still hurts, right? And it's gonna, but he's also very excited for what's next. And also, he's learned a lot through this whole experience. He's a lot more mindful of red flags. He didn't really get into detail on things that he said he thought was weird and has always thought was weird, but now he totally sees like, oh yeah, those were all red flags. So now he's a little more experienced, and maybe the next time he's with somebody later down the line, he'll have a little more wherewithal to see or, just assert and address things that seem weird and actually confront them instead of just ignoring them, right? Um, that's a huge lesson to learn that you have to do. Um, and, you know, I think the biggest lesson I think that he was able to take away, and it's not something he didn't know, it's just something that's like more evident now, right? And it's something I'm very grateful for in my life. And it's that even in like the darkest situations that we get into in our lives, there, when you choose to look for and seek them out, when you take the time to stop seeing the negativity only and you choose to seek out the positive points of these situations, there always will be a reason to be hopeful held in there somewhere. There's always a reason to be excited about something. There's always something positive, forward, good that can come out of most of these situations. Especially heinous things that happen to people. Yes, I know that there are very many situations out there in the world that no, nothing good really comes out of it. Maybe years and decades down the line by way of laws changing and shit like that, but when it comes to situations in our personal lives and that we deem negative, so like especially here in the United States, a lot of the issues that we have, for the most part, there are positives that could come out of it. Um, you know, and again, I don't want to speak for everybody, but that was a massive lesson. He actually, that was the reason that I made this video is because he explicitly came and told me, "Hey, man, thank you for sitting down and taking the time to talk with me about all this stuff and sharing your perspectives because now I feel completely better about all this. Still hurt, but I also feel better about knowing that negative things are going to happen in the future, but that there's always a reason that you can stay hopeful through them." He's like, so he told me that that's basically changed his whole outlook on how he sees negativity and negative things in his life. And that's such a fucking honor. And like, financially and career wise, he's far more successful than I am, right? And that just goes to show that those things also don't um, define our place in the world either, or what we can know, or what we can share with each other. You know, like just as much as he could help me, I can help him, regardless of the difference in our, economic stature. Um, but more importantly, in most situations, whatever it is that we're going through, if you take the time and stop feeding the energy into the negative aspect of it, um, we think about it in terms of the future. There are very many reasons in a lot of these negative instances that we should actually be hopeful and look forward to the future. Because usually negativity are just it's, there's a reason things are that way. There is an underlying cause. There is an underlying reason why that thing is changing. Everything that comes about, negative or positive in our lives, are essentially changes. It's just whether we like them or not. Um, and in his life, obviously, a lot of that needed to change. It sounds like he needed more freedom. He needed to live for himself more. And this cascading domino effect of negativity that flew through his life. If he'd have chose to live in that negativity, he'd probably be out smoking dope right now. Um, because those thoughts crossed his mind. They would have crossed mine. But because he reached out, he got his phone out, started calling and talking to people about it, people were able to show him just how blessed he really is. Um, and now, like that negative, freaking disgusting, ugly feeling of nothing and loss feels like a hopeful expanse of opportunity and growth. And I'll tell you what, I'm excited as hell to see where he goes with it. And I'm excited as hell and grateful and absolutely honored to be a part of it. And I've already been talking to him. I'm gonna have him come on the channel one day and kind of tell a story about it. But I just thought I wanted to share that with you. And P, if you're watching, I hope I did you well, and I hope that you enjoyed watching this. And again, I love you, man. I'm very grateful that I got to have that conversation with you and get to help you the way you say I did. I guess I don't know, but just know that it helps me just as much too. And anytime that we get to tell anybody or help anybody with anything, the person helping, it helps them just as much. Um, you always get just as much out of it as the person being helped. So always be willing to talk to somebody and always be willing to listen to somebody because you never know just how much of a difference you might make by doing that. Hope y'all having a lovely weekend. Love y'all. Later.